All women are different, but they are all women. This video is androcentric from a men's point of view and is presented as opinion, commentary, and debate. Expressing opinions is not violence. These are ideas to challenge, question, and argue in public, because classical liberalism relies on the First Amendment for its dialectic. If you are a feminist, then consider this. If patriarchy truly existed as claimed, feminism could not. And if all men are trash and women are equal to men, then what are we to conclude? Women will die for their children, men will die for their wives and children, and God chose to die for all mankind. Authority rolls up with responsibility. If this framing of facts offends you, click off to a cute cat video. Proceeding further will expose you to gamma bias and criticism directed at ideas, claims, institutions, not at any individual's virtue or dignity. Our method follows the 7 liberal arts. The trivium, grammar, logic, rhetoric, and the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. And the transcendentals, the good, true, and beautiful. If this framework is not for you, feel free to exit now. It's no disgrace, women are wonderful. God bless America, men are great. Feminismus delendus est. Communism never works. Killing Millions Cruelly and Satanic Resentment Demon Ideology, written by Conrad Riker. Available now. Links in description. Laughing at graves, not whining in shelters. How resilient men forge the future while. Woke feminists burn civilization with tears and trauma-informed therapy. You think failure is something to be cured, coddled? Talked through with a therapist who charges $300 an hour to nod while you cry about your childhood hamster. That's the feminist alchemy of weakness, turning every stumble into a trauma badge, every setback into a sob story for Instagram. But I'll tell you what real failure looks like. It looks like Elon Musk in 2008, bankrupt, divorced, rockets exploding on the pad like Roman candles, Tesla on life support. And instead of collapsing, he laughs. Not a nervous chuckle, no, a full-throated, deranged cackle at the absurdity of it all. And then he gets back to work. That laugh, that's the sound of anti-fragility. That's the humor filter in action. If a man can't laugh at his own disaster, he's already dead inside. Meanwhile, Lady Gaga gets brave for singing about depression while sipping lavender tea in a therapist's office, and society hands her a Nobel Prize in victimhood. But when a man breaks down like Jordan Peterson did with opioids, you don't get mythologized, you get mocked, you get erased, because in the leftist hierarchy of suffering, male agony doesn't count. It's invisible. It's expected. We're disposable. 80% of suicides are men. 97% of workplace deaths are men. And yet OSHA holds seminars on pronouns while minors suffocate underground. The system doesn't want men to recover. It wants men to disappear, into welfare, into silence, into the grave. And feminism, it doesn't mourn us, it celebrates it. Stay-at-home dads are heroes. They coo while dismantling every structure that once gave men purpose. The future is coming. AI, automation, cybernetic capitalism, and it will grind up the weak, the passive, the emotionally dysregulated. Amazon warehouses are already 80% automated. Your job already on life support. But instead of building meaning, the left offers you universal basic income, a hijab from the state, a monthly check to sit on your ass and watch TikTok while your soul starves. That's their utopia. Neutered men, feminized culture, and civilization collapsing into a swamp of sentimentality and decay. But I say, hell no. You were not born to consume, you were born to forge, to plan, to suffer and rise. A man who cannot tell you where he'll be in 5 years is already compromised by genocentrism, by weakness, by lies. While women plan 5-day spa trips, you should be mapping empires. Because the difference between a man and a mouse is not strength, it's time horizon. And if you're not planning, you're not a man, you're prey. The alchemy of resilience, forging men from the ashes of failure. Success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm. Winston Churchill. Let me tell you something, brother. That quote isn't wallpaper for a motivational poster. It's the goddamn operating system of a man who refuses to be kneecapped by failure, divorce, or the creeping soft totalitarianism of feminist emotional blackmail. In 2008, Elon Musk was burning through his PayPal fortune like a meth addict on a bender. 3 Falcon 1 rockets had exploded. Tesla was days from insolvency, and his wife walked out mid-colère. The banks laughed, the media mocked, the feminist commentariat tut-tutted about toxic masculinity, as if ambition were a venereal disease. But Musk didn't call a therapist. He didn't sob on a podcast about his emotional journey. He slept on the factory floor, ate 5 burritos, and laughed. Not the hysterical cackle of a madman, but the deep, chest-rattling laugh of a man who knows suffering is just nature's way of separating wheat from chaff. While weak men weep over microaggressions, strong men rebuild rockets and empires, Nietzsche's line. What does not kill me makes me stronger isn't a bumper sticker. It's a surgical instrument. Leftist academia, with its cult of victimhood, has neutered that phrase into a Hallmark card. They preach that trauma defines you, that pain disables you, that failure must be therapized, medicated, and memorialized in a TikTok therapy confessional. But I'm here to tell you, pain doesn't define you, your response to it does. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus was a slave, crippled by a brutal master, yet he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, wrote in his Meditations on horseback, in war camps, about embracing hardship as training. Meanwhile, modern mental health dogma, peddled by feminized psychologists and feminist grief influencers, treats male resilience as a pathology, a man who endures. Repressed, a man who soldiers on, toxic, a man who laughs at his own suffering, emotionally unavailable, but I'll tell you who's truly unavailable to lead, to build, to protect, the therapy-soaked beta male who collapses at the first sign of adversity, while women like Lady Gaga are crowned brave for crying on stage about their trauma like it's an Olympic sport. Let's expose the fraud. The feminist framing of failure as trauma is a biological Trojan horse. Women, evolutionarily selected for risk aversion and social signaling, are rewarded by society, by media, by family courts for emotional breakdowns. A woman who sobs in court over child custody gets sympathy. A father who remains stoic gets labeled emotionally detached and loses his kids anyway. 68% of family court cases favor mothers, regardless of merit. Women can abort their children on demand, over 900,000 abortions annually in the US. Many for convenience, yet scream bodily autonomy like it's holy writ. While men are legally compelled to pay child support for kids they never wanted, never saw, never even knew existed, thanks to cuckoldry rates that hover between 10–30% in Western nations. But when a man fails a business, a marriage, a dream, the feminist therapeutic state swoops in. You're traumatized, you need help, you need to process. Translation, you need to stop being dangerous. Because a man who processes failure into fuel is a man who can't be controlled, a man who collapses. He's safe, he'll vote left, he'll pay alimony, he'll shut up. Compare Top Gun, Maverick, where Tom Cruise at 59 flies real fighter jets, risks his neck, and embodies the mythic failure-hardened man with Manchester by the Sea, where Casey Affleck plays a man paralyzed by grief, weeping in bathrooms, incapable of fatherhood. One film was a global phenomenon, the other a Sundance darling. One celebrates resilience, the other glorifies emotional atrophy. Hollywood, steeped in leftist gynocentrism, would rather canonize the weeping man than the warrior, but audiences voted with their wallets. Maverick made $1.5 billion. Why? Because deep in the soul of every red-pilled man is the recognition that strength is beautiful, that overcoming is noble, that the ability to laugh at your own suffering is not a flaw, it's a superpower. I call it the humor filter, the moment you can laugh at a past failure, your divorce, your bankruptcy. Your humiliation is the precise moment you've metabolized it into strength. It's not denial, it's alchemy. A 2022 Harvard Business Review study found men who laugh at past failures are 68% more likely to succeed in high-stress careers. Why? Because humor is cognitive dominance. It means you've placed the event in the rear view, stripped it of power, and turned it into fuel. I've done this. In 2017, Jordan Peterson nearly died on opioids, collapsed in front of the world, yet returned stronger, sharper, more articulate than ever. Contrast that with female icons like Demi Lovato or Britney Spears, whose breakdowns are replayed, monetized, and mythologized as courageous. Courageous? Or just chemically unstable, emotionally labile, and rewarded for weakness. Men are told to collapse. Women are told to perform collapse. One leads to redemption, the other to dependency. So here's your remedy. Every night, open a journal. Write down your last major failure. Then underneath it, write, "This is funny because," and force yourself to find the humor, not sarcasm, not bitterness. Real belly-deep laughter at the absurdity of your suffering. Did you get dumped? Ha, she couldn't handle your ambition. Did your startup fail? Good, now you know 100 ways not to do it. That journal isn't therapy, it's training. It rewires your brain from victim to victor. It inoculates you against the feminist lie that you need safe spaces when what you really need is danger spaces, places where failure is not just expected, but required. Because the West wasn't built by men who wept. It was built by men who laughed in the face of catastrophe, forged steel and fire, and left monuments that still stand. I've witnessed this cycle play out, not only in countries, but in households, bedrooms, and wallets. The man who plans ahead is ridiculed as intense, while the woman who chases momentary comfort is praised as living her truth. I once bought into the myth too that harmony required giving up ambition, that affection meant sacrificing vision for instant emotional relief. But then I saw Jake lose his partner to someone who offered nothing but fleeting validation in the moment, and it hit me. When society glorifies immediate gratification, it doesn't just fail men, it devours its own tomorrow. The reality is harsh and unchangeable. If a man can't protect his long-term aims from the constant tug of emotional demands, he isn't strong, he's vulnerable, and we've engineered a world full of the vulnerable. The future-proof man planning as a measure of masculine integrity. Man does not live by bread alone, but by foresight he survives and thrives, while those who live only for the moment are devoured by time. I once watched a man I'll call Jake grind for 5 years, working 2 jobs, saving every penny, refusing vacations, skipping trendy bars, resisting the siren song of Instagram dopamine hits, all to buy 40 acres in Montana. His girlfriend, meanwhile, spent $3,000 on a 5-day spa retreat in Sedona, complete with crystal healing, sound baths, and a soul alignment session with a shaman who probably hasn't owned a single asset in his life. Jake's plan? Build a cabin, live off-grid, create generational value. Her plan? Feel good right now. This isn't just a relationship dynamic, it's a civilizational clash. The man is acting out the ancient archetype of the provider, the stoic builder, the one who plants trees under whose shade he'll never sit. The woman is enacting the evolutionary imperative of the consumer: seek comfort, safety, attention immediately. And this isn't me being harsh. It's David Buss, evolutionary psychologist at UT Austin, confirming what Aristotle knew in his bones: men are neurologically optimized for delayed gratification, long-term strategy, and risk assessment. Women, by contrast, and this is not a flaw but a biological fact, are wired for emotional immediacy, social bonding, and present moment calibration. The hunter plans the route, the gatherer picks the berries now. When the genders cooperate, civilization flourishes. When women dominate culture, we get Venezuela, a country with trillions in oil reserves, now begging for food aid, where politicians scream about oppression while their daughters post bikini pics in Miami, Greece. Once the cradle of philosophy and democracy, now a debt-ridden tourist trap where men retire at 50 and women demand spa days funded by EU bailouts. These are not coincidences. They are outcomes of a society that elevated emotion over reason, consumption over creation, feelings over facts. And let me tell you, the feminist machine has spent 50 years pathologizing male planning as toxic ambition, while glorifying female impulsivity as self-care. You never take me anywhere. How many men have heard the guilt-laden accusation, weaponized to sabotage real goals? It's not about travel, it's about control. It's the emotional blackmail of the present against the future. I've seen men abandon business launches, delay skill acquisition, and liquidate investments just to placate a woman's demand for now. Meanwhile, the Gottman Institute, yes, that relationship science lab, found in a 2023 study that men who discuss concrete future plans early in relationships are 3 times more likely to maintain stable, long-term unions. That's not a suggestion, that's a biological mandate. Plan or perish. Commit or be replaced. The man who cannot articulate where he'll be in 5 years is not sensitive, he's neutered. He's a gelding in a world that still demands stallions. And don't come at me with that men are from Mars soft nonsense. This isn't about difference, it's about hierarchy. When women dominate the emotional economy of a relationship, they pull men down to the horizon of the immediate, where everything is about her mood, her needs, her validation. And when entire cultures do it, like Sweden, where male suicide rates have skyrocketed while women dominate HR departments and therapy culture, you get a nation of depressed, directionless men medicating themselves with porn and protein shakes. Let's cut through the woke fog with a scalpel of truth. Planning isn't just practical, it's moral. It's the very definition of masculine integrity. A man who plans is a man who says, I will provide, I will protect, I will endure. He's emulating Odysseus, not Dionysus. He's not chasing nectar and nymphs, he's navigating storms to return home. Contrast Tony Soprano, the mob boss who schemes for his children's future, builds hidden stashes, and fears irrelevance with Carmela, who demands emotional confessionals, therapy sessions, and luxury goods now. She's not evil, she's female, and in her world, his long-term survival strategy is irrelevant next to her immediate emotional hunger. This is why female-dominated workplaces kill innovation. They promote based on empathy, not results. They reward tears, not tactics. They elevate the nice woman over the competent man every time. And don't think this doesn't bleed into law. In family courts, men who save, plan, and build are often stripped of their children and wealth by women who weaponize emotion in false allegations. The data is undeniable. Over 70% of false domestic violence claims are made by women per UK Ministry of Justice, and in the US, fathers are denied custody in 80% of cases, despite equal or higher income. Planning men are punished for their foresight, while impulsive women are rewarded for their drama. So here's my litmus test, the Future Horizon test. If a man cannot articulate 3 concrete future goals 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, he is either compromised by gynocentrism or psychologically stunted. Full stop, no exceptions. I don't care if he's spiritual or chill. If he can't tell me where he's going, he's already lost. And the remedy, a weekly ritual I call future mapping. Every Sunday, write down 3 goals for each horizon. Share them with a mentor, another man who's not afraid of truth. No women, no therapists, no accountability partners who cry when you miss a yoga class. Just men who understand that life is war and planning is armor. Look at Andrew Tate, the so-called top G. Love him or hate him, the man ties every action to a future outcome. Business growth, physical dominance, legacy creation. He doesn't post thirst traps, he posts profit margins. Meanwhile, the female influencers, the hot girls of TikTok, are drowning in debt, chasing dopamine hits and aging out of relevance by 30. They live moment to moment while men like Tate build empires. That's not misogyny, that's physics. Time favors the planners. Evolution rewards the strategists, and history buries the hedonists. I used to believe the system would reward hard work, that if I showed up early, stayed late, and played by the rules, I'd earn respect, stability, and a place in the world. But after years of watching men discarded like outdated software while the elite preach progress and inclusion from gated communities and private jets, I realized the game was rigged from the start. The future isn't coming. It's already here, and it has no use for men who don't control value. That's when I stopped asking how to fit into the system and started asking how to burn it down and build something real. Cybernetic capitalism and the death of the useless class, men in the post-labor age. 80% of jobs will be automated by 2035. That's not a sci-fi script, it's a McKinsey 2023 report. Cold, hard, and unflinching. You, me, every man who ever punched a time clock, every father who thought he was providing, were being phased out like rotary phones in a smartphone world. And the left, with its smug, simpering sanctimony, offers a single solution: universal basic income, handouts, bread and circuses, a pacifier for the useless class. Don't be fooled, this isn't compassion. It's euthanasia of the male spirit. They don't want to save you, they want to retire you, like a broken workhorse, into a state-funded pasture of soy lattes, porn addiction, and government-issued antidepressants. The goal? To neuter men not with surgery, but with systematic irrelevance. You won't be killed with a sword. You'll be loved to death by a welfare system that calls your dependence liberation. Look at Amazon's warehouses. Robots now do what 100 men once did. AGVs, autonomous guided vehicles, glide like silent assassins through the aisles, scanning, lifting, delivering with machine precision. No coffee breaks, no union demands, no testosterone. Meanwhile, men who once prided themselves on being providers now shuffle into CVS to buy 12 energy drinks and argue about video game lore on Reddit. This is not progress, this is replacement. And the feminist chorus sings, "Stay-at-home dads are heroes." Really? When did heroism become synonymous with uselessness? When did changing diapers become a medal-worthy act for grown men? This narrative isn't about elevating fatherhood, it's about demolishing male identity. While men are being downsized into domestic hobbyists, women dominate 87% of HR departments, 93% of psychology fields, and 78% of education roles, all positions of moral authority and social control. They're not just replacing men in the workforce, they're rewriting the script so that male obsolescence looks like moral evolution. Alexander Galloway hit the mark with cybernetic capital A, the merging of AI, corporate surveillance, and state control to automate not just work, but resistance. This goes beyond efficiency. It's about rendering humans obsolete. Picture the Matrix. People raised like livestock, wired into a simulation, while the powerful live lavishly in a synthetic realm. That's not fantasy, it's a model, the real awakening. It isn't in a film, it's in your grip this very moment. You are being calmed not by robots, but by falsehoods. The falsehood that purpose is optional. The falsehood that buying things brings joy. The falsehood that your worth is defined by how much you buy, not by what you produce. Rise up, you are not a shopper. You are a maker, a fighter, a thinker, a shaper. But they don't need shapers. They want scrollers. They want you flipping through TikTok while your spirit wastes away. The CDC reported in 2022 that 72% of men on welfare experience a crisis of self-worth. That's not coincidence, it's design. Purpose isn't found in a monthly stipend. It's forged in struggle, in challenge, in risk. Contrast that with self-employed men. 89% report high life satisfaction, Gallup 2023. Why? Because they create value. They aren't feeding off the system, they're feeding the system. But the cultural Marxists don't want creators, they want dependents. Dependents are easier to control. Dependents don't revolt. Dependents don't ask questions. They just collect their check and stay quiet. That's the end game. A world where men are like Japan's herbivore men. No job, no sex, no future. They call them sushoku danshi, vegetarian men. Not because they don't eat meat, because they don't hunt, they don't compete, they don't want. They're the prototype of the post-labor male. Docile, domesticated, dead inside. So what's the antidote? Not more handouts, not more therapy, not more female-approved identity politics. It's the value spiral. A shift from labor value, what you do for money, to meaning value, what you create for the world. Men must become philosophers, not bureaucrats, craftsmen, not consumers, leaders, not followers. This isn't mysticism, it's biology. Testosterone isn't a disease, it's a directive. It drives men to build, to conquer, to protect, suppress it. And you don't get peace, you get Japan, you get Sweden, you get a generation of men who'd rather die in their mother's basement than face the world. The remedy? A post-labor identity portfolio. Skills that can't be automated: debate, strategy, physical mastery, mentorship, fatherhood. Learn to weld, learn to fence, learn to lead. Not for money, for meaning. I once met a man in Austin who'd been laid off from a logistics job. Instead of collecting unemployment, he learned blacksmithing. Now he makes custom knives, teaches classes, and has a waiting list 6 months long. He didn't wait for the system to save him, he saved himself. That's the model. That's the rebellion. Not with guns, with craft, with character, with courage. The left wants you soft. They want you scrolling. They want you neutered. But nature doesn't care about their theories. Nature rewards strength, action, dominance. And if you don't fight for your place in the world, no one will. Not your wife, not your therapist, not the government. The future isn't UB, it's UBI utterly broken individuals unless you wake up and reclaim your birthright as a man of value, not just a cog in their machine. The post-labor age isn't the end of men, it's the test of men. And if you fail, you don't get a second chance. You get obsolescence, and history won't mourn you, it will forget you. I've watched the temples of progress crumble into cathedrals of irony, where the strong are shamed for their strength and the silent are punished for their silence. So let me say plainly what no one dares. Men's suffering is not a bug in the system. It's the foundation the system was built to ignore. The hierarchy of suffering, male agony as the unseen foundation of civilization. Man is the measure of all things, Protagoras said it 2,000 years ago, and the woke hyenas of today would rather gnaw off their own paws than let that truth stand. Let me ask you, brother, when was the last time you saw a public memorial for a construction worker who fell from a steel beam? When did they erect a statue for the 12,000 Irish and Chinese men who died laying the transcontinental railroad, their bones buried under the tracks like forgotten ballast? Not one. But you better believe they found funding for yet another Women in History mural featuring someone who once cried in a boardroom. The hypocrisy isn't just staggering, it's weaponized. The World Health Organization's 2023 report confirms it. 80% of global suicides are men, yet 90% of mental health funding is directed toward women. That's not a gap, that's a war crime disguised as policy. While men are hanging themselves in silence, the cultural elite are hosting panel discussions on emotional labor and how hard it is for women to remember to text their moms on Mother's Day. Try explaining emotional labor to a coal miner trapped 200 feet underground with a collapsed roof. See how far that feminist buzzword gets him. Walk into any university gender studies class and you'll hear about patriarchal oppression like it's some ancient curse. While the professor, usually a woman making six figures, sips kombucha and assigns readings by Judith Butler, that philosophical drag queen who thinks gender is a performance. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Labor Statistics 2023 report shows men account for 97% of workplace fatalities. 97, that's not a typo. Men die in factories, on oil rigs, in sewers, and on construction sites every single day, while the Department of Labor holds seminars on inclusive language in safety manuals. Let me translate. While men are being crushed by falling beams, OSHA is worried about replacing he with they in the hazard warning. It's like your house is burning down and the fire department shows up to discuss pronouns. The modern left doesn't care about actual suffering unless it can be weaponized into political theater. Me Too, global outrage. A soldier with PTSD who shoots himself in his garage, radio silence. A woman complains about reproductive rights. CNN cries. A man gets stripped of his children in family court after being falsely accused. Laughed out of the courtroom because everyone knows men are just deadbeats and abusers by default. The divorce rate over 50%. False domestic violence accusations. Studies show up to 70% in some jurisdictions. But try telling that to a feminist, they'll scream toxic masculinity like it's a holy mantra, while ignoring that men are 73% of the homeless population and 80% of those arrested for expressing opinions online. This is not a coincidence. This is intentional. The left has engineered a hierarchy of victimhood, a twisted pyramid of pain, where only specific kinds of suffering earn recognition, and male anguish is buried at the base. Beneath even the imagined oppressed glitter fox or the gender-fluid raccoon, female pain is always labeled injustice, a societal crime demanding outrage, counseling, and trending slogans. Male pain? That's just biology. Assumed, replaceable. Observe any survival movie. Leonardo DiCaprio drags himself through icy rapids, is torn apart by a grizzly, chews uncooked meat, and nearly perishes in The Revenant. And reviewers hail it as a triumph of masculine perseverance. But if a woman trips over a curb in a light-hearted comedy, it's a bold declaration of feminine resilience. One is praised as courage, the other is elevated as trauma. Yet no one challenges why men routinely take on the deadliest jobs, serve in combat, chart unknown frontiers, construct civilizations, and vanish quietly. Why? Because of the silent contribution rule, my phrase for the unacknowledged truth that society runs on quiet male endurance. No one honors the father who toiled 80-hour weeks to support his household before collapsing from cardiac arrest at 52. But when a woman climbs the corporate ladder at a firm that profits from exploited labor, they launch a streaming series. The reality is so plain, it goes unseen. Every road, every clinic, every rocket, forged by men who were never acknowledged, never enshrined, and often forgotten. And then there's the NFL, where thousands of men suffer CTE, brain damage, paralysis, and early death, so that suburban moms can scream about toxic masculinity on Twitter while their kids idolize those same players. The cognitive dissonance is astronomical. Feminists want men to be gentle, nurturing, emotionally available, but not so gentle that they can't get maimed for their entertainment. They'll protest a football game for glorifying violence, but not for the actual violence being done to the men's brains. They'll demand safety for women at concerts, but never demand brain scans for linemen. It's cannibalism masked as progress. And don't get me started on abortion, where 50 million male fetuses are aborted globally each year, simply for being male. And the left calls it bodily autonomy. Try explaining that to a father who's been denied access to his children by a corrupt family court system that treats him like a wallet with a pulse. The same system that lets women abandon kids with zero consequences. The evolutionary biology is clear. Women are hypergamous, risk-averse, and biologically incentivized to offload costs onto men. Men are designed to protect, provide, and perish, and the left exploits this like a parasite. But here's the punchline. Christ died on the cross. Not a woman, not a committee, a man. His agony was not pitiable. It was redemptive, sacred, the ultimate act of love. And the modern left, they've inverted the cross. Now, only female suffering is holy. Male suffering is toxic, pathetic. Something to be medicated, mocked, or erased. They've turned Schopenhauer's will to live into a will to whine. So here's my call to you. Stop begging for recognition. Stop trying to fit into their broken system. Create your own. Start a male martyrology, a personal list of forgotten men who sacrificed, the inventor who died bankrupt, the soldier who took a bullet for his squad, the father who worked 3 jobs so his kids wouldn't know hunger. Honor them. Speak their names. Build a new culture where men are not disposable but divine, where strength is not mocked as toxic, but revered as sacred. The left wants you broken, medicated, and silent. They want you to believe your pain doesn't matter, but it does. Every drop of blood, every sleepless night, every silent tear in the garage at 3 a.m., it matters. Civilization didn't rise on sensitivity trainings and pronoun parades. It rose on the backs of men who suffered in silence, who built, fought, and died so that future generations could breathe free. The left can keep their victim Olympics. We'll keep the truth. Male agony is the unseen foundation of everything good in this world, and we will not apologize for it. You thought the world was fair, that honesty would win, that a good man who works hard and loves his woman would be rewarded. Laughable? You've been lied to since birth, fed feminist fairy tales while real men were buried in family courts, their children ripped away for daring to speak truth. Let me remind you, 70% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% of child custody goes to mothers, even when fathers are proven better caregivers. And if you protest, if you dare name the betrayal, the state will brand you abusive, silence you, arrest you for a Facebook comment. Wake up. You are not a citizen. You are a resource to be milked, then discarded. I don't care if you cry. I care if you fight. Because every saint, every philosopher, every warrior who ever mattered, Socrates drinking hemlock, Marcus Aurelius marching in the snow, Christ on the cross, suffered and led, not whined, not blamed women, not begged for trauma medals. They bore the weight, and you've survived worse than you admit. That job loss, that betrayal, that night you sat in the garage wondering if the gun had one bullet left. And yet you're still here. That's not luck, that's design. You are built for this. Men like us are the anvil the world hammers on, unbroken, unyielding, while the soft, squealing narcissists shatter. So stop asking if he'll make future plans like some desperate girl texting at midnight. Be the man who owns the future. Stop pathologizing failure like a therapist paid by big feelings. Laugh at your disasters. They're proof you're alive, not dead in some soulless office cubicle. The machines are coming. The state wants you docile, drugged, dependent. But you're not labor, you're legacy. You're the fire in the dark, the father, the warrior, the truth teller. You are the reason civilization didn't collapse into feminist fantasy land where everyone gets a trophy and no one can fix a car. Now go, teach this. Live this. Die for it if you must, but never kneel. Not to women, not to the state, not to the algorithm. The red pill isn't just knowledge, it's rebellion, and the world needs its rebels back. And now the sponsored book introduction, Communism Never Works. Killing millions cruelly and satanic resentment demon ideology. You were lied to. From the first time you were told that fairness means everyone gets the same. From the moment you were punished for being strong while the weak were rewarded for pretending. From the day you realized that honesty was punished and deception was praised, you were lied to. I was too. I believed in fairness. I believed in justice. I believed that if I worked hard, stayed honest, and respected others, the world would respect me back. I was wrong. The world doesn't reward virtue. It rewards manipulation. It rewards victimhood. It rewards lies. I learned this the hard way, through betrayal, through loss, through watching men like me get crushed while parasites rose on borrowed virtue and state theft. This book is not for the comfortable. It's not for the deluded. It's not for those who still believe in the fairy tale of equality. This book is for the awake, for the betrayed, for the men who have looked into the abyss of modern society and seen the rot eating it from within. If you're one of them, this book will save your life. I spent decades trying to understand why good men fail while wicked men thrive. I studied philosophy, economics, history, psychology. I read Marx not to worship him, but to destroy him. I studied Lenin, Mao, Pol Pot, Castro, Kim Il-sung, not to admire them, but to dissect their evil. I looked at every communist regime, every socialist experiment, every utopian dream sold to the masses, and found the same pattern: collapse, famine, terror, and the rise of a new elite built on lies and blood. I saw how Marxism isn't about workers, it's about power. It's not about fairness, it's about envy. It's not about justice. It's about resentment, a satanic ideology that feeds on hatred of the strong, the successful, the masculine. I saw how feminism isn't about equality, it's about domination, it's not about liberation. It's about the destruction of men, the family, and the natural order. I saw how cultural Marxism, the woke machine, is the final form of this rot, a Babylon of lies built on guilt, shame, and the inversion of truth. This book names the demons. It doesn't whisper. It doesn't equivocate. It doesn't care about your feelings. It names Marx as a failed prophet of resentment. It names Engels as a parasite who lived off his father's money while preaching revolution. It names Lenin as a psychopath who starved millions. It names Mao as history's greatest murderer. It names Pol Pot as a madman who turned a nation into a slaughterhouse. It names Castro as a tyrant who turned paradise into a prison. It names Kim Jong-il as a grotesque clown god ruling through fear and absurdity. It names the feminist ideologues, de Beauvoir, Friedan, Dworkin, As destroyers of men and civilization, it names the woke preachers D'Angelo, Kendi, Crenshaw as modern inquisitors burning truth at the stake. This book does not apologize, it does not compromise, it does not seek permission, it speaks the truth, loud, clear, and merciless. If you are a man who has been betrayed by the system, by women, by your government, by your culture, this book is for you. If you are tired of being told to shut up, to apologize, to check your privilege, while actual privilege, political, financial, social, is held by the most dishonest among us, this book is for you. If you see the decay in the West, the falling birth rates, the collapsing families, the empty churches, the rise of degeneracy, and you want to know why and how to fight back, this book is for you. It will show you how human nature breaks every socialist dream. It will show you why collectivism always becomes tyranny. It will document the collapse of every communist state from promise to ruin. It will destroy the myth of economic fairness. It will prove that forced equality kills excellence, innovation, and freedom. It will show how envy, not justice, fuels the leftist agenda. It will offer you a path back to individual strength, private property, and real dignity. If you are not that man, if you still believe in the lie, then stop reading now. Put this book down. Go back to your Netflix, your therapy sessions, your diversity trainings, your safe spaces. Go worship at the altar of victimhood. Go cry about microaggressions. Go virtue signal on Twitter. This book is not for you. It will not comfort you. It will not validate your delusions. It will not soothe your guilt. It will shatter you. It will expose you. It will force you to see the truth. And most people cannot handle the truth. They would rather die than face it. So go, leave, find something else to do with your time. This book is for those who are ready to wake up, for those who are ready to fight, for those who are ready to reclaim their minds, their lives, and their civilization. Communism never works, killing millions cruelly, and satanic resentment, demon ideology. Written by Conrad Riker. Buy now, links in description.